and welcome back to Traffic Talks. I hope you are doing well. If this is your first time with me, hi, my name is Pyro. I like to talk about what's going on in my life, from my goals to my hang-ups to anything happening around us. Usually with a lesson I've learned, a few tips and tricks you can follow that helped me, and a lot of laughs in each episode. If this is something you would like to continue hearing or start, feel free to follow the podcast and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And to see what I'm up to, you can check out my Instagram, which will be linked below. Now, onto the episode. So, yes, that was the first time doing this little intro I thought of, just to get me over that little bump from greeting to the topic. I've been playing around with how to do that, and I thought this would be a nice filler. Let me know what you think. Besides that, I thought I'd use this episode to catch up, because I've been on this weird hamster wheel, and I thought, let me just get off, take perspective, and then go from there, because July has flown by. With everything that has been going on, I feel a bit like playing catch up, so that is essentially what this episode is, and I feel like I've missed a lot of things, including Christmas in July. If you know me, you know I am obsessed with Christmas. I love it. I've planned it from the previous Christmas. I am over the moon about it, and I have completely missed Christmas in July that happened, and it was definitely overshadowed by the Olympics, which is to be understood. It's a very big event globally, not just locally. It's understandable a few things have slipped through the cracks. However, I'm here to fill those cracks, paint over it, and give you the full picture. So that is what this episode is about. So, what has been going on with me lately? I have been catching up with my friends more often. This is obviously done over the phone because of social distancing and things, and literal location. One of my friends are overseas, another one lives nearby, but due to health concerns we tend to stay away from each other, but we do call over the phone and speak that way, which is always nice. And she was a teacher, so before school started up, I spoke to her for like a full half an hour during my workday while she was off, and we've caught up regularly like that, which is nice. I've been more relationship focused in terms of friends, which is nice. I don't have many, as you all know, but it's been good. I've also tried to work on being a friend to myself, if that makes sense. Journaling, looking at prompts for self-discovery and introspection. That is generally my thing. I love that. So that has helped a lot, especially just with things concerning myself, because a lot of the times people are very concerned with the outward and I'm more focused on the inward. Yes, there's a certain aspect in terms of health, but that is always misleading from the outside. I've spoken on that many times, but it's usually about the internal, not the external, which is why things like Instagram can be harmful depending. But for the most part, for me, I don't really care. I'm more focused on if I can do it and I'm happy with it, then I'm fine. Internally, I've been doing a lot of work and it has paid off. I definitely feel that it has, and I'm enjoying that. Leading into Instagram, I've tried to up my Instagram game. I've been working hard on various posts. I've been trying to prep a few posts in advance just so that I could have something to post, because I'm not overly active on social media. It's just who I am. But I have been trying, especially for the podcast and all that. But I have been trying to find ways to make my content more organic and natural and not seem so posed and planned, just because that doesn't seem natural and authentic. So a lot of the times you'll see my photos and it's not the most glamorous picture of something, but it's because it's just happening in the moment and I thought, why not share it? I've been trying. That is what I can say. I've definitely been stepping up my Instagram game and trying to engage and create content and things like that, but we'll see. But I am getting there. Writing project is another thing I've been working on. I do a lot of creative writing for fun, but I've also been working on something I intend to publish. I have given myself a deadline and things, which is very scary, like overwhelmingly scary, but that's a good thing, because if your dream doesn't scare you, it isn't big enough, and this is very scary to me, so I think it's right. But it's also exciting, which I'm So looking forward to. Another thing I've been making strides in is my health. And that I mean literally, I have been making sure that when I have a moment or two, I stand up and I do lunges or squats. I will lunge from one part to another. So for example, if I'm at the fridge, I will lunge to where the stove is and back if I need to fetch something else. So just to add an extra bit of a workout into my day. I've also started drinking green tea daily, 1 to 2 cups, depending on when I have it. I've also been watching what I eat, trying to eat healthier. So yes, I still have my sweet treats or a snack here or there, but I definitely am more conscious of what I'm eating, when I'm eating it, and how I'm eating it, especially because technology can distract you from what you're eating. So eating in front of the TV is a no-go, watching a show and eating is a no-go. I try and sit at the table and just focus fully on my meal. I've been drinking more water recently for the last few months, so that is still a constant that's been picking up, which is nice. And I've also just tried to make sure that the people in my home are aware of it. A lot of times we think we can do things alone, but for the most part we can't. Making them aware of what I'm doing helps me, because then they'll be more conscious of like, oh, let's all try and help, or at least not make things more difficult for me to a certain extent, which is always a good thing. One of the best things I've done for myself is overhaul my finances. I constantly talk about this because I do truly love it. Not for the fact that I'm talking about money, but because I think finance and budgeting is something that's so vital to each and every human being, regardless of age, status, income, everything like that, to the point that we need more in terms of just education and understanding in this field. That aside, my biggest thing with finance is I've had to overhaul my budget because I would like to buy a house by the time I'm 30. I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but 30 is my goal to buy a house, and that is a year and a half away. Like, that is very, very close. So I've started saving up for it. I've done my favorite thing, which is starting to make lists for it. And I'm finding that I have to rework my budget often because I like nice things. Like, I truly do. And one of the things I've had to ask myself each time I'm wanting to purchase something that is not a need is this valuable to me for my future home? If it's not, then I don't buy it. And if it is, then I do buy it. A perfect example of this is the pack of ring binders that I bought. So I bought a pack of 12 ring binders and used it to bind together scraps of paper that I pulled from previously used books. I had a whole bunch of books and stuff that I just have been meaning to try and get through, and I didn't. And a while back, I literally went through all of that nonsense and pulled out basically reams of paper from half-used school books, half-used notebooks, things like that. And they were all A4 sized books, so they were all the same sizes. So what I did was just pull the extra pages and keep them aside. I've now bound all those pieces of scrap paper together. I've sorted them, everything like that. And the beautiful thing is that paper can be used for all my lists and things, and the ring binders can be reused for the next project that I have or do, or for something completely different. And the bag that I bought contained 12 rings. I've only used 5. So I have spare in case something goes wrong, something breaks, someone else might need it. It is the perfect example because I can use this in my future home. If I buy paper, punch it, put it in there. I can print dotted paper, grid paper, line paper, making my own notebooks, not having to buy expensive notebooks from the shop. It's the perfect thing for my future home. Whereas I had to debate, do I go buy a coffee from Vida, which is amazing. Yes, I have the reusable cup, but I could take that money, add a little bit more, buy an entire bag of coffee, like filter coffee, and make it at home myself. We have the equipment to froth and foam things, so why not just do that? That is the perfect example for me. I would rather wait a little and buy a bag of coffee and make it at home and get like 10 cups versus spending half the amount that I would have paid for the bag of coffee and get one drink out of it. This can be applied to anything that you want to buy. Is this going to be valuable for my future or not? Is this going to bring me temporary joy or not? You need to ask yourself, does my goal outweigh the instant gratification I will get from buying this thing? Because yes, if you want to save up some money and go sit at the restaurant and just have a nice lunch all by yourself, even if it's a bit pricey, do that. But make sure you save up that money first, because cutting off all the luxuries or the nice things you want in life is not worth it. Making yourself miserable to save up for something is not worth it. I know for a fact if I go to Mug and Bean, I'm going to get a piece of cake, I'm going to get a bottomless coffee, and I'm going to sit there for like 2 hours and enjoy my life. That is what I'm going to do. And it's worth it because I'm going to save up the money first, then I'm going to go spend it. And that's fine. But I'm not going to do that every week out of my essential budget for the month. That is not how this works. Budgets are essential, planning ahead is crucial, and spoiling yourself is definitely worthwhile because you deserve it. Just don't go overboard and save up the money beforehand, and you'll be fine. That is the end of my ramblings for this episode. I am going to close with this little note. This year has flown by, but you need to put in effort to achieve the things you want. With me, my main goals right now are my house and my health. I'm saving my money and I'm focusing on me. Putting myself first, especially as I said last time, for the next 6 months, has helped me make so many mental shifts that I didn't know I needed to make. And it has helped me prioritize much better and put myself first and not consider others' needs ahead of mine. I'm the most important person to me. I need to put myself first. I'm the main one that I need to consider when making decisions. This is literally all about me. As weird as that sounds. And I saw a thing on Instagram where basically it was a whole bunch of things, but the crux of it was, when you aren't used to putting yourself first, certain things seem selfish or mean or aggressive or things like that. But when you're not used to putting yourself first, you will think it's being selfish. You will think it's being disrespectful. You will think all those negative things when it's not. It's only because you're not used to it. So start getting used to putting yourself first. The song of the week for this week is Back in Time by Pitbull. It was the theme song for Men in Black 3, if I'm not mistaken. Brilliant movie. But the reason I chose it was because this year has been literally flying by. We are officially in August, people. Like, I cannot. My point is, time is flying by and sometimes you wish you can go back. And unfortunately, you can't. The one good thing about that is, even though you can't go back, there are things you wish you could have done differently. And being able to look back and see, I wish I had done that differently. You can learn the lesson from it and apply it to your life currently. Me, money, duh. But for you, it could be something else, or it could be the same thing. But that's just how it is. We can't go back. We can only make changes now that we hope will improve our future. That is it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, you can leave a like and heart this episode. If you have anything to say, please leave a comment. And if you want to see what I'm up to, you can check out my Instagram linked below. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. And never forget, keep being a better being. That is all for me. Love you. Bye.